Liam never thought he had a money problem. At 27, he had a stable job, his own tiny apartment, and enough income to feel like life was moving in the right direction. But one cold Thursday morning, while standing in line at a coffee shop he'd visited almost every day for 4 years, something happened that he couldn't shake. The card machine beeped, declined. He tried again, declined. And in that split second, right there between the espresso machine and the impatient sigh of the guy behind him, Liam felt something he hadn't felt since college. Embarrassment mixed with a sharp punch of fear. How could this be happening? His paycheck landed 2 days ago.
Everything's going to be okay.
He hadn't bought anything crazy. But when he opened his banking app, the truth slapped him awake. Little transactions everywhere. $3.89, $7.50, $14.29. Food deliveries, random subscriptions, convenience purchases. Everything he told himself didn't matter, but it did matter. And that morning became the moment Liam learned his first major lesson. Lesson 1. Money doesn't fix what habits break. He didn't have an income problem. He had a leaking bucket problem. And if he kept living like this, no salary increase, no promotion, no side gig would save him. That was the day Liam stopped asking,
Oh no.
"Where did my money go?" and started asking the better question, "What do my habits say about the kind of future I'm building?" Liam kept telling himself the same lie most 20-somethings whisper at 1 a.m. when the world is quiet. I'll figure it out later. Later felt safe. Later felt far away. Later felt like someone else's problem. But the truth was already tightening around him.
Honey, look what I just bought!
A buy now, pay later split on a pair of sneakers. A credit card swipe for a night out because, hey, everyone else is doing it. Then a subscription here, another there. $5, $10, numbers too tiny to trigger guilt, but powerful enough to snowball silently. And Liam didn't feel the weight until the morning his minimum payments totaled more than his weekly groceries. That was the first time he sat on the edge of his bed, phone in hand, staring at a notification from his bank that didn't just show a balance. It showed a pattern he no longer controlled. Here's the hidden lesson most 18 to 34-year-olds never hear. Debt rarely announces itself with a crash. Creeps, quietly, patiently, like a shadow that only makes sense when you finally turn around. And before we go deeper into how Liam's invisible debt explodes into a defining moment of his life, backhand index pointing right, pause for a second. Hit subscribe. I'm Bob, your wealth guy, and what happens to Liam next is the moment everything changes. Liam didn't want to look at his bank statements. Who does? But after that conversation with his coworker, something in him shifted. So one quiet Saturday morning, he sat on his bed, opened his laptop, and faced the truth. His checking account, barely surviving between paychecks. His savings, technically existed, but only in theory. His credit card,
How am
a
I going
slow,
to meet up?
silent fire growing in the background. But what really punched him in the chest was the total he spent on little things in the last 30 days: food delivery, streaming upgrades, random online purchases that felt tiny in the moment. The number wasn't tiny. It was massive. Liam felt embarrassed, angry, but also awake. For the first time in a long time, he saw that the issue wasn't just that life was expensive. It was that he had no plan. He was reacting to life hour by hour, paycheck by paycheck. And right there, in that moment of uncomfortable clarity, he realized something. Every dollar is a vote, and he had been voting for a life he didn't even want. But what Liam does next, that decision becomes the turning point of his entire financial life. And trust me, you'll want to hear it. Stick with me. Block 4 takes this story somewhere he never expected. Liam didn't want to admit it.
Honey, look at these
But
expenses.
the real problem wasn't the bank fees, the rent increases, or even the credit card interest. It was him. One Thursday night, something tiny exposed everything. He had walked into a grocery store to grab a few things. No list, no plan, no budget. 20 minutes later, he walked out with $86 worth of snacks, 2 energy drinks, and a candle he didn't even like. And as he tossed the receipt into the passenger seat, he felt it. That sharp sting right between the ribs. The one that whispers, "Bro, you did it again." That night, Sitting on his couch, Liam finally faced the truth. My bank balance isn't broken. My habits are. So he tried something different. He opened a blank note on his phone and created a simple rule. Every dollar must have an assignment before I spend it. And suddenly, patterns appeared. He saw his triggers, his impulse windows, the hours he made the dumbest purchases, the emotional shopping, all of it. And for the first time, Liam realized that he wasn't financially unlucky. He was financially unaware. But awareness changes things. And it did. Because the very next week, something happened. Liam sat in his car outside another fast casual restaurant, staring at the receipt. $18.42 for one lunch. Again, it hit him harder this time, not because of the meal, but because he finally understood what the real trap was. Convenience. For years, Liam thought money problems came from big mistakes. Car loans, credit cards, rent. But now, watching that $18.42 fade in his hands, he realized something else. It's not the big wolves that eat your wallet. It's the tiny ants. Uber Eats Fes. Impulse gas station snacks. Random subscriptions he forgot he had. Last-minute grocery top-ups that turned into $70 receipts. The daily coffees he bought because it's just $4. Every 18 to 34-year-old in his circle had the same pattern. Convenience, impulse, slow financial bleed. So Liam made a new rule. If it saves 10 minutes but costs $50, it's not saving me anything. He packed lunch for the next day, canceled 3 subscriptions he hadn't touched in months, and deleted 2 delivery apps. And for the first time, he felt something he hadn't felt since his overdraft spiral began. Control. But the real turning point was still ahead. Because later that week, Liam would discover the one spending habit that was secretly costing him more than convenience, more than interest, more than lifestyle inflation. And when he saw the total, his entire financial identity shattered. Block 6 is where everything changes. Want the next lesson? Liam woke up the next morning feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time. Control. Not victory yet, but control. And that was new. But as he sat at his desk, his bank app opened, he realized something was still off. He had cut spending. He had tracked every dollar. He had faced the truth about his credit card habits. But now he was staring at a problem he'd avoided for years. His money wasn't doing anything. It was just sitting there, floating, unguided. So he opened a notebook, drew 4 empty boxes, and wrote at the top, "If I don't tell my money where to go, it will decide for me." That became his 6th lesson. Lesson 6, money grows when you give it a job. He labeled the boxes, essentials, growth, freedom, fun. Then he went line by line assigning percentages like a manager giving tasks to employees. Suddenly, his salary became a system, not random chaos. His $40 left over each week suddenly had an identity. Part of it went to investments. Part of it chipped away at debt. Part of it funded long-term freedom. And yes, part went to guilt-free enjoyment. And as he filled the final box, Liam noticed something powerful. He wasn't budgeting anymore. He was building a life. But then, just as things seemed to click, one unexpected notification hit his phone. One that threatened to destroy everything he just built. And that's where Block 7 begins. By the time Liam hit 32, life looked nothing like the mess he started with. His credit score had climbed high enough that lenders stopped treating him like a walking risk. His savings was no longer a joke. It was a system. Automatic transfers. Clear targets. No more hoping, just doing. But the real shift wasn't the money itself. It was the way he thought. Every time Liam faced a decision, buy this, borrow that, upgrade here, he paused and asked a simple question. Does this cost me freedom or buy me freedom? That one filter turned his entire financial life into a game he could finally win. His debt? Gone. His emergency fund? Fully stocked. His investments? Growing quietly in the background. His stress? Cut in half. But here's the twist most people miss. Liam didn't become some perfect financial monk. He messed up. He overspent sometimes. He stalled on goals. But he kept one rule. Never break the habits that got him out of the hole. Even on bad weeks, he protected those. And that's why his life changed, because he changed his system, not just his mood. Now the question shifts to you. If you want the next story, the next strategy, the next transformation like Liam's, then hit subscribe right now to join us here at Wealth Bob, where I'm Bob, your wealth guy. And if you're ready to sharpen your next money move, the video on your screen is exactly where you go next.